Hey everyone, Big Tone here, just giving you another update on what's been happening around the shed. So there's been a lot going on in the last few months since the previous video that I put out, and it starts off with this. So end of last year I actually bought the house that I was living in, so there was a lot of stress, as anyone who's bought a house would know, and a lot of effort put into that to try and get that across the line. So that kind of put things back a bit, but that's done and dusted now, and it's my shed and I can do what I like, and that includes keeping it a mess. So the other thing that I want to talk about is where we're at in terms of the Swift. So we tried to make it to Sydney this year. We tried to make it in March and that didn't happen. And we're trying to make it in May and that unfortunately also didn't happen. So we are going to make it to Brisbane. Where we're at now with the car. So been doing a lot of finishing work. So small jobs, and anyone who has had anything to do with making things knows that the small jobs, even though they're the last 2% of the build, will take forever. Case in point, I did the dash last week, and we're having a dash, even though our new class, we don't require one. We just think it's a bit more finished. That took 3 days from a dash that was already kind of half made to something that looks nice in the car. So there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of standing around looking at the car, just because that's how things get done. I've started putting things in the interior, so the gearbox, everything's in there, the pedals, the dash is temporarily there. I've made a 3D printed a mount for it. I've been doing a lot of work in the engine bay, just positioning things, trying to figure out where they're all going. We're pretty pushed for space, obviously, being a Swift, and I just have to work things through in my head. So this weekend coming, and a future video that you'll probably see, I will be making the fuel cell, which is pretty close to the turbo, and also the radiator is getting mounted, and that's pretty close to the fuel cell. So that's been happening, but other than that, I've mounted up a whole heap of stuff on the now driver's side, and you'll see that that's pretty tight space. I've had to get some custom things done for stuff that we already had from the RX-7 to things that we're putting in the Swift. There's been a bit of printing there, and yeah, it's progressing along. I've run some fuel lines, I've done a few other things, and it's getting there. The manifold and everything needs taken off, and I need to face it and everything, and then I'm going to paint it and wrap it, and it'll be done. So yeah, that's coming along pretty good too. But again, small things, not very interesting. The other stuff that we've done, there's been a lot of sort of humming and hawing about Windows, so that's also going to be in an upcoming thing, but I don't want to sort of preempt anything, but we're probably going to go with something that's a bit unconventional for how they do it in the Pro cars. I mean, I'm a software engineer, if you like. I'm not a chassis builder, so if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to do it the best way that I think it should be done, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, but in the meantime, I've got a few ideas for some future videos, not necessarily work on the car, but that's what I think that you guys might want to see, who are kind of thinking of doing the same thing, maybe, God forbid, and just some other things, technology that I've used. So I'm right into technology. So I want to go over some of the stuff that I did the 3D printing, and how you can use it in a build like this. So I think that'll be cool. But for the time being, that's what we got. And I'm going to show you some of the footage that we caught in the last 6 months. There's not been a lot. We did actually not record that much after we decided we were really going to try and make Sydney. So there'll be a big jump from what we got to what we got now. Welcome again to the Swift. So we have a look there. We've finally finished off the firewall. Well, not finished, but 90% finished, and you can see we got our dummy motor in. So we've been doing stuff. Not recording a lot because we've just actually been trying to get things done. We really want to take this car to Sydney, and if we record, that actually takes time away, especially when I'm doing it here by myself. But the other big thing that we've done is made our little manifold. She's pretty beefy, all steam pipe, and that's going to attach to that. This is all just sitting here because it was all together and now it's not, so I have to cut this probably down here, just because we don't have much room between the actual turbo and the intake there. So yeah, I think there's something there, but yeah, we're getting there. Firewall's done. A lot of this stuff you would have seen at Rotary Revival, but for those who didn't, it's mostly a car. It's starting to rust again because that's how long it's been sitting. Most of the sheet's done in the back. All of the anti-roll bars done. We've got to move those wheelie bar brackets down because they're way too high for what we're doing. But yeah, we just got to take the body off one more time. There's one thing that we got to trim up down here somewhere, just to make it fit a bit better. And then all of that sheet which has been in there before will fit up the way it has fit before. And then once that's done, we'll be done with most of the bodywork. We've got to put the battery in the back and a parachute bar, but that's about it. Front end wise, we're just going to reuse this frame. So we're going to cut all along here, run a bar of 3/4 moly just up there. It's got to come out to about here, I think. We're going to tack that on, cut this flush with the back of the light bucket because we're going to keep the lights and actually put a light in there. But that middle bar is going. There's going to be a single bar that goes down so that these can attach to the bumper and run across, and that one running across is what's actually going to mount on the end of the rails. So yeah, it's all happening slowly but faster than usual.